Well, welcome back, drone and phone viewers. Today we're going to do something very different. One of the things that we get asked most of is what gear to buy. Now, we've put together a series of 5 episodes with 5 different activities where we're going to recommend our tips for the most essential kit to buy. Starting today with hiking. Now, the great hiking author Alfred Wainwright had a saying, there's no such thing as bad weather for hiking, just unsuitable clothing. And we agree with that at Drone and Phone. And we're going to go ahead and give you 10 tips to make things easier, 10 essential pieces of gear that we think you should take with you. Now, for full transparency, Kailas do provide us with gear. It's a premium brand, quite an expensive brand. It's one that we really like. But there are many other brands out there at different price points. And so what we're going to do is recommend what kind of gear to get and what to look for. We're not going to recommend specific brands. That's up to you to go and do the research and talk to the retailers when you go out to buy it, right? Time to get on with our first one. Now, tip number 1 is the base layer. That's any bit of clothing that is actually touching your skin. That will be your socks, your underwear and your shirt. Now, there are products that promise to keep you cool in the hot weather and warm in the cool weather. They do work actually, but only for very short periods of time, and it's always a compromise. Now, you're looking for 2 things: a garment that will wick away the sweat and is quick drying. That is not, so this one, a cotton t-shirt will not do that. That will actually soak up the water and possibly put you in danger if you go into cooler weather later on. So try to avoid cotton. Try to go for a polyester like this one. This is a technical shirt that is designed specifically to do those 2 things. There is one natural fiber, merino wool, that will do the same thing. It's called capillary action. That's the wicking away of the sweat. It'll also not smell so bad, but unfortunately in Hong Kong it's normally way too hot for a base layer. Now, you can save a little bit of money with these. If you get a technical shirt, you can find quite cheap ones that do the job and more expensive ones that will keep smelling a bit better. So maybe one for Jack when he's out, because he doesn't tend to change his shirt very often. Okay, let's get on to the next tip. Now, the second thing on our list is the next layer. We're going to talk about layers in the next part as well. For the second layer, you're looking at something that is warm, that can warm you up when you need to, but is also reasonably lightweight, because for most of the time we'll be carrying it. Some other things to look for: if you can find something that is breathable, that will help and has some wind resistance, also some rain resistance. So it doesn't have to be waterproof, obviously, but if you get a little bit of a light shower, the water just springs off it, that's going to help you. You don't want something that sucks in the water. So we're looking for something that's light, that is breathable, and is wind resistant. Well, the third item is a water-resistant jacket, and this is something that you should not cheap on. If you have money to invest, this is where you should put your investment. Now, there are 2 things that we're looking for. One is water resistance. This is measured in hydrostatic head. It's a number. We're looking for something between 10,000, possibly at the very lowest, to get the water resistance we need, and up to, well, let's say 30,000. This jacket I'm wearing at the moment is 28,000, which has got a very high hydrostatic head for what I need, but that means it's very water resistant. Now, on the other side of that is breathability, and we do that in 2 ways. One, we create a material that is breathable, and that means that the holes in it are small enough to keep out the water droplets and big enough to let out the vapor that is created by sweat. And that is a possible thing, and it comes in a sandwich of different layers. I'm not going to go into much detail on that right now. But you are trying to find a jacket that has a combination of those 2 things. Now, you can also get breathability by having vents in the back and under the armpits and all sorts of other places. Other things that you might want to look out for are things like this, that you're able to see your watch as you go along. You have little clips on it that are going to make it more comfortable to wear. You also want a larger size. Remember, this is the 3rd layer in our 3 layers. So it's going to go over the top of the fleece, and in an emergency, it's going to be very important to keep you warm. So we're looking for breathability and hydrostatic head, that is the water resistance. Find something in the middle that's light, packable, that you can put away, and you have the perfect jacket for Hong Kong. So there's a saying that the mountaineers like, and this is for our number 4 tip. Start cold, be bold. And what they say is that you should try and strip off as much as you can before you set off. Be on the cold side and you'll soon warm up as you go along, so you're not starting to strip layers off 10 minutes into your hike. Now we're going to talk about shorts and trousers for this particular tip. Obviously something that you need. I prefer to hike in shorts. Jack often wears trousers, particularly in the hot weather, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, what I'm looking for in a pair of trousers, or shorts in this case, is firstly something that is comfortable. You have to be careful about chaffing. That is a problem with shorts because they're rubbing against your skin all the time. So something that is comfortable. The second thing I look for is some kind of waterproofing. It doesn't have to be waterproof, but quick dry, and a wax finish, which means the water just comes off it without soaking up the water. Again, something that you don't want. And the third thing is good pockets. Good pockets that you can keep things in. I like 2 pockets. I don't like the side pocket for anything weighty when I'm walking, but these 2 pockets, deep, and something that I can trust, because you don't want things to fall out. When I hike, I normally have a phone and a camera in each of those pockets. Now you may want to consider long trousers as well. I've got my pair here. Again, you want something that is lightweight, is comfortable, and has pockets in the right place. These are quite useful for mosquitoes, give you an added protection, though we'll be talking about mosquito repellents in another episode. Other thing you might want to consider are zip-off pants. Not the coolest or trendiest things to wear, but very practical and give you the best of both worlds. Right, let's go to the next point. Now, when it comes to comfort in walking, there's nothing more important than the shoes. I don't have any specific advice for shoes. As far as my research has gone, that there is no real benefit for spending a lot of money on a shoe or spending less money on a shoe or any other particular type of shoe. It's the kind of shoe that you feel most comfortable with. I prefer trail running shoes for Hong Kong. Other people prefer boots or minimalist shoes, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. That is up to you. But there are 2 things I think you should consider when thinking about shoes. The first is the grip. Getting a very good grip will make a big difference. I would suggest looking at Vibram or one of the other brands that provide really good grip on the bottom of the shoe. The other thing to think about is waterproofing. I don't think you need a waterproof shoe in Hong Kong because for most parts you want a quick dry shoe rather than one that keeps water out. It's not quite the same when you're in colder environments, but in Hong Kong I would go for that. You don't want your shoe filling with water and it being difficult to get rid of the water during the day because you have a waterproof shoe. So the next item is sunglasses, and that is something that is actually very important to protect your eyes, particularly on days like today, from UV. Now, nearly all sunglasses are 100% UV protected. So even the very cheap ones, right up to the most expensive, they have 100% UV protection. It should have a little label on it, but make sure you buy them from a reputable dealer or an optician to be sure. If you buy them from the market, it might have that label on, but it may not protect you from UV, and that can be actually very dangerous. The second thing to think about is the wraparound. That if you can get glasses that fit well or wrap around a little bit, that's going to protect from sun getting in through the sides, which you'll get a lot of when you're out hiking. Those are the 2 priorities. When it comes to things like polarized glasses, the darkness of the glass, they go up in numbers from 0 to 4, 4 being the darkest. The color of the glasses, the style of the glasses, that is all up to your personal preference, as is the design of the glasses. That is also up to your personal preference. These glasses here, they cost me, I think, $69 from Decathlon, and they're perfectly adequate. They'll do exactly the same job as a super expensive pair of glasses for what I need them for. Now, your day pack is an essential piece of kit to bring all of the things that you need for your hiking. I'd firstly suggest, I'm going to give you 6 tips to get a size up from what you think you need. Having a bit of extra space you'll never regret, because there'll be times when suddenly you need a bit of extra things to carry along. Second thing is the carry system. If you look here, you see we have a mesh back here that keeps the backpack away from my back, also provides good waist support and takes some of the weight off your shoulders and onto your waist. Third thing is water carry system. Now for water, I like to have 3 different options. Here we have the traditional water bottle in the side, we have soft flasks that go down on the straps here, and also a bladder. That's going to give me lots of options when it comes to carrying my water, which of course is very important in Hong Kong. Pockets is the next thing. I like a backpack with lots of pockets because it means that I can put different things in different places, and I always find them very quickly. If you're a regular hiker, doing that, you'll find that it will save a lot of time hunting around in the bottom of the backpack to find something that you need. Next is weatherproofing. This has a little bit of water resistance off it, but it also has a cover that I can take from underneath and pull it out over the whole backpack. That's going to keep it nice and dry if we do get a very heavy downfall. And last, it has a few little extras like a whistle attached to it, which might get me out of a scary situation sometime. Now these days when we go hiking, the mobile phone has become a key part of the way that we navigate. We take pictures and photographs, we chat with our friends, but they do run out of power. And if we ever come to a situation where we are in danger, the phone is the one thing that we need to call emergency services and bring them to where we are. Now for that, I highly recommend bringing a power bank. That is on my list. This is a 10,000 milliamp power bank. It allows me to recharge the phone and always gives me plenty of power if things go badly wrong. Also, the light on the phone can help me guide me, and again, if I get my timing wrong, that will help me guide me. Having that extra power means that I have light as well. Now, just remember to bring an extra, because these are so light, lead. I've had problems with leads failing on me out in the field if they get wet or the leads get broken. Just having an extra lead, no extra weight, it could save your life. So in Hong Kong, a real safety point is water. Many people underestimate how much water they need, and they go out maybe on a winter's day and find themselves really struggling. Some get into very serious trouble. So let's talk about water carry systems. There are 3 that we use. The soft flask is one that normally goes into the pockets up here. This is used more for trail running, and I'll talk more about that in another episode. And then the main water bottle, the traditional water bottle, I always recommend with this that you have it with some kind of secure system. In this case, a carabiner that clips on, which means if you lose that water bottle, if it drops out, it's still attached to your backpack. We've had instances where we've lost water bottles and got into difficult trouble. And then finally, the bladder system. These can come with a tube that you can suck on, or you just leave it in the backpack with a lot of water. This allows you to carry a lot more water. This, in this case, 2 liters. Now, depending on the day, depending on the hike, you will choose which one you're going to use, or all of them. The one thing I do recommend, though, for the main water bottle is getting one with a filter inside. This is going to allow you to refill it from streams, as you go along, or waterfalls, wherever you find water. And in difficult situations, that's going to get you out of a sticky situation. The other thing is just the fact that you can refill it means you're not carrying as much weight with you with water if you know that there are places along the way where you can refill. Now, my last tip is another safety one. It is sunscreen. Just by the nature of hiking, you're going to be out in the sun for long periods of time. Even on cloudy days, you still can get sunburn. So I would always recommend putting a good smothering of sun lotion 20 minutes before you go out. You're meant to put about a teaspoon of sun lotion on your face, about a teaspoon on each arm, and then reapply every 2 hours. 2 things to look out for. One is the SPA, which we would recommend going between 30 and 50. And the other is getting a wide spectrum sunscreen that covers both UVA and UVB. It's really important for your health and something hikers often neglect to think about. Well, that's the end of this episode, but Please stay tuned. We've got another 4 episodes coming, and there's many items that we're going to put in the other episodes that we couldn't squeeze into this one, things that you would probably want to have when you're out hiking. So stay tuned to that. For now, my name's DJ, and this is Drone and Phone. Bye-bye. Come on, boys, let's go.